Okay, so since you're going to be installing Photoshop on your home computer, you're going to need to change the settings that we changed when we were in the computer lab at school for the first time. So let's just do that again real quick. You might already have a right click on your mouse if you use a mouse. It's really handy in Photoshop to have that right click option. But if for some reason you don't have it, you can click on this little Apple logo, top left corner, go to System Preferences. You're going to get what looks like it's a bunch of kind of menu items, and there's probably a white computer mouse in there somewhere. So we're going to click on that. And this is obviously going to be different on the PC side, but on the Mac side, you may see what my screen looks like, or you might see a big white computer mouse with drop-down menus on the left-hand side and right-hand side that say primary button. So we're going to change the one on the right to secondary button, and that'll give us a right click. This is a little different, obviously, than the one at school. And then make sure that the scroll direction natural box is unchecked, and you should be good. So we'll X out of that one. Now, in the Photoshop interface, when you open it for the first time, you're going to have probably something like this, which is your Learn, or it's like a tutorial tab of ways, things you can learn in Photoshop. We don't really need that because essentially, I mean, you can obviously learn from within the program too, but that's kind of what this class is meant for. So it's also just kind of cluttering up your interface. So I'm going to close this out. On my computer, I have this option, these little lines on top of each other, stacked lines here, you can see here. And I'm going to click on that and say Close Tab Group. So all I really need to see is this sort of ombre looking box, a rainbow or spectrum strip on the right-hand side. Down below, your interface is going to be probably all empty, gray. You might not even see this down here, so don't worry about my screen seeing that. But I'm going to change some settings here. And when I'm done changing these settings, I'll end this video and pick up where we left off with the next video. So let's do this first. We're going to go to, let's make a new document. So we're going to go to File, New. You can also hold down the Command key on your keyboard, which on the Mac keyboard is to the left or right of the space bar. I believe that the Control key might be the equivalent in the PC world, but Command N, or you can also do the menu, File, New, same thing. And you're going to get a new document window that pops up. Takes a second here for some reason. And it gives you all these options for what kind of a new document you want to set up. I'm going to select Print, which is an 8.5 by 11 by default. So it's like a piece of paper that comes out of the copiers or printers at home or at school. So that's all good. We're going to leave this at 300. 300 is the resolution. So 300 pixels per inch, or 300 dots per inch, or DPI, sometimes they call it, is a good resolution for printing. So we're going to keep it there for now. Say Create. Okay, your window probably looks something like, let me just close this out. Looks something like this. It looks like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Just so you know, you can zoom in and out of a document anytime with the Command key, Command minus, Command plus, kind of handy, and Command 0 goes back to full screen. So that Command key does a lot of stuff inside of Photoshop, so it's kind of handy to know. Now, on your toolbar strip, we're going to change a couple things. This right here is where the magic wand should be. When you open up Photoshop for the first time, I'm not sure what tool, if any, is going to be lit up like this one is here. But you can hit W on your keyboard, and that will bring up what should be the magic wand. So the magic wand shares this little slot on the toolbar with another tool called the Quick Selection tool. We don't want that right now. We want the magic wand. So all you have to do is right click on top of that tool. You might even be able to hold on to it, click and hold, and you're going to change it to the magic wand tool. You'll know you're on the right tool because it looks like a little sparkler kind of thing. Then we're also going to go down to the T tool on your toolbar. You can also hit the letter T, and that would do the same thing. You can click on it or hit T, like I just did, to get the type tool. And it looks a lot like Microsoft Word up here, or any other word processing program. It tells you what the typeface is, the style, the size, and you can keep all that the same. It's fine for now. We'll change fonts as we need to later. But you do want to change the word sharp to smooth, because These are just different rendering settings for type. So if you have it at none, it's going to look a lot like a like 1980s video game, very jagged type with no smoothness around the edges, and it sort of gets better from there. I'm not sure why sharp is what the default is, because smooth is what we really want it to be, especially if we're going to be doing any kind of graphic design. We want the type to look nice and smooth, so we're going to change that to smooth. And the last tool setting I would love you to change is in the view menu. So if you go over to the view menu and scroll down, you want to take snap off. So it's currently checked. Let's say no. Uncheck that. See how it's unchecked now? And before I end this video, I'll just explain. So snap is something that when you're moving objects around in Photoshop with the move tool, which by the way is this top tool here, it kind of locks into an invisible grid, which is sort of annoying unless you really want to be super precise with things. And I'm not sure why you would want to do that in the beginning of learning Photoshop. So that's why we took snap off. So now it won't snap to that invisible grid. Cool. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Change those settings before we get started, and I will see you in the next video.